What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Top 5 on this glorious Top 5 Friday, and I couldn't be more excited than to be talking to you about one of the greatest bands of all time, Fleetwood Mac. So let's get right into it. At number 5... Gypsy from the 1982 album Mirage. I love this song so much, and it almost was a Stevie Nicks original on her debut solo record, but she held it back for Fleetwood Mac, and I think probably because this song is very nostalgic for her. She wrote the song about the days when her and Lindsey Buckingham were kind of coming up in the 70s, and they didn't have a lot of money, and that line about back to the floor with my paper flowers, she was talking about literally they had a mattress on the floor with a vase with paper flowers next to it, and that was, you know, the life back then. And she felt like fame sometimes would get in the way, and she would still years later sometimes put her mattress on the floor to remember those days of the struggle. And that's a cool way to think of this song when you hear it. But she calls herself a gypsy, and just a lovely tune with a really cool, fun, and grooving vibe. So that's at my number 5. Now at number 4... You can go your own way. Go your own way. Go Your Own Way from 1977's classic Rumors. Of course, you have to have this on your top 5. A lot of people would probably put this higher, but Lindsey Buckingham, as great a guitarist and songwriter that he was, I'm not as crazy about his voice. I'm more of a Stevie Nicks fan if I had to choose my favorite vocalist of the band. Of course, you can hear her on the background vocals along with Christine McVie on this, but Buckingham is really the star of the show on this one, and definitely on guitar. I mean, that guitar solo at the end is just so great. And the band, this is probably one of their most rocking tunes out of their entire catalog. And, it's really cool the way it builds. And this song was written, of course, at a time when all of them were breaking their relationships. John and Christine McVie, Lindsey and Stevie were breaking up, and Mick was breaking up with his wife at the time. Just a crazy time for them to be creating music, and they ended up creating probably their best album of all time. And this is definitely one of the best songs from it. So that is at my number 4. Now at number 3... The Chain, also from Rumors. Yes, this is just a classic song, and I love how it has a little bit of like folk country vibe in the music, but then it really picks up and also builds similarly to Go Your Own Way. John McVie adding that really cool bass line at the end of the song that really picks up the pace and gets into this jam at the end where they say, chains keep us together. And again, this song obviously about all the crazy things that were going on within the band, all the relationships falling apart. And but this is one of the few songs where all 5 members are credited with songwriting credits, which is really cool because you can tell they're all just in sync on this one, especially vocally with that 3-part harmony. Just beautiful. So that is at my number 3. Now at number 2... Dreams, also from Rumors. I mean, hey, what can I say? It's a great classic record, and this is definitely one of my favorites. I tend to really go for the ballads and the Stevie Nicks led songs, you can tell, but this one is just, I love, it's got kind of a groove to it. The bass and drums kind of just have this hypnotic thing going on throughout the song, and then that chorus of the thunder only happens when it's raining, players only love you when they're playing. It really kind of gives you an idea again of the chemistry of what was going on with the band members at the time. Just that opening line that Stevie Nicks says, "You want your freedom, who am I to take that from you?" I'm paraphrasing the line, but just so much going on between her and Lindsay, obviously. And then, of course, she ended up with Mick later. And I think they all ended up with each other at some point or another. But all that conflict amazingly created just some of the most iconic and beautiful songs of the late 70s. And this is definitely another one of them. So that is at number 2. Now at number 1. Landslide from the self-titled 1975 Fleetwood Mac album. I love this song so much, and you probably are not surprised by now. You know that I love Stevie Nicks as my go-to vocalist of the band, but another song that she wrote, and this was at the time before they broke up for good. It was a breakup that she had with Lindsay in the early stages of their relationship, and she's talking about I took our love, I took it down. She says in an interview off of the mantle, she felt like she was just kind of taking their love down and kind of reassessing where they were as a couple and if she would take him back. And you really feel it's just so heartfelt. And the guitar playing, Lindsey Buckingham, I cannot say enough what a great and versatile guitarist he is. I mean, Go Your Own Way, he's rocking on the lead guitar, but as a rhythm acoustic guitarist, he's just up there as one of the best. And he really carries this song with her voice and the way they perform this song together, and they're looking at each other. You can tell the love is still there after all these years. I don't care what anybody says. I know Lindsay has now been kicked out of the band or whatever. There's still those feelings. These songs will always exist. That's the beautiful thing about music in general, is no matter what happens in a relationship, these songs that carry and convey the message of love and unrequited love or whatever, they stand the test of time. And this is just one of those all-time beautiful ballads. I love it so much. And it really has a lot of wisdom in it too, especially for such a young songwriter at the time, where she says, it makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. It's one of those songs that, like Bob Dylan, he was writing all these amazingly deep songs at such a young age, and later he kind of grew into these songs, and this is one of those that feels that way. So that's my number 1, folks. Let me know in the comments below, what is your top 5, or if you feel so bold, give me a top 10, because there's so many great Fleetwood Mac songs. I had to leave several off of mine, and you're probably going to yell at me in the comments for some of those, but that's fine. That's what this is all about, and I appreciate you watching. So every Friday, there's a top 5. We got album reviews, so much more. Thank you, and if you like this, subscribe, all that jazz. As always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out some of my other content that you can see on the screen now. Thank you again for supporting Johnny Radio. Take care, and I'll see you soon.